Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Maurice Benard.
What the heck? My goodness gracious. Wow. Something wrong with my lip. Since my baby left me. Thank you very much. All right, this is State of Mind in Graceland. And the first things I want to say is to Frank Valentini and to Graceland. They've done an incredible job here this weekend. You know, it takes a lot for me to get on a plane, and I'm glad I did. And this is State of Mind Graceland. Wow! You know, I've never done this, so it's wild because, you know, usually I'm in my apartment in a little room and everybody comes in and we have this communion, you know. So this is incredible. Before I bring the incredible guests, I want, you know, a lot of people ask me what is state of mind and all that, and you know, state of mind to me is anybody who has mental illness. It's a way that they can watch State of Mind and not feel alone. And you can see celebrities, non-celebrities going through things, and it makes you feel like, you know, if they can do it, I can do it. And speaking of that, I just want to say one more thing before I bring on the great guests. As far as anxiety, you know, people ask me, how do you get through it? Any mental health, any anxiety, depression, manic episode, the way to prevent it from happening is making sure you do everything you can for it not to happen. Yoga, therapy, breathing, working out. So, for instance, 3 weeks ago, I went to Disneyland. And I wanted to get on this roller coaster that always gave me a bit of anxiety. Because I've been doing great since the pandemic, man. No anxiety for 2 years. Yes, we can clap for that. And I got there, and I always say that the way you do this is you want to stay in first, second gear. You don't want to go to, you can go to third, you don't want to go to fourth, and don't go to fifth and sixth. During the pandemic, I was in seven. Okay? We don't have to get into that. So I get on this roller coaster. I'm in about second gear, a little nervous, maybe like I am now. And I got on, I filmed myself because I wanted to show you guys, and I was cool, okay? I was cool. So maybe everything that I've been talking about on State of Mind for 2 years is working. But I knew the real test was going to be the airplane. Because as you know or don't know, I've gotten off 2 planes. So I get to the airport. I'm in about second gear. I see Dominic. I'm in about 10th gear. I'm just joking. I get on the plane. When you get on the plane, you have like PTSD because you start remembering. So I get on. Now I'm in about third or fourth. And it's a scary feeling, but guess what? I went right down to 1. Woo! And it makes me feel like what I have been talking about, oh man. It just makes it good, you know? Makes it real. All right, enough of me babbling. This is State of Mind. I'm going to bring out the guests. I'm going to sit over here, I guess. This is kind of weird in here. Here they come. Who's first? Ready? Laura Wright. Here she is. Hi, darling.
Hi, honey.
How are you?
Good. How are you?
Next is Dominic Zamprogna.
I feel like we just did this. I feel like we just did this.
I know we did.
And the next
Encore.
is Cameron Mathison. So, I just want to say, first of all three of these friends of mine have been on State of Mind, and, you know, they were all phenomenal. Seriously, we got deep. So what I want to do, the first part of this, thank you. I want to talk about, oh yeah, guess what? It's Elvis's birthday, right? Okay, just let me tell you what's happening, okay? I'm airing this on Elvis's birthday. So it's going to be fantastic. I wanted to get it by you guys, but that's not Elvis's birthday.
Yeah, they would have started yelling at you.
So what I want to talk about first is personal stuff. Woo! Look at Dominic. No, please.
That's what we're here for.
I'm about to say, isn't that why we're here?
Okay. Well, yeah, but we'll get the soap stuff after that. You guys have all been on State of Mind. I want to know what has happened since then. Okay, with each of you. We'll talk to the Queen first. Queen Laura.
You know what's happened that has been amazing? And there was a couple lovely women who spoke to me today and shared their little bit of their experience. We didn't have a lot of time. But I've had so many people reach out on Instagram mostly, the private messages, telling me that they've been through something similar and reaching out about the books that I've read and what I did and just how much the State of Mind episode helped them going through their situation of, I want to say a rebirth, right? A rebirth of a new life after divorce in your 40s. And how exciting it was to receive all the messages of people having similar experiences and really finding power and excitement in this new season.
I was fascinated with Laura that, like, they all can hang out. You and your ex-husband.
Yeah. I just spent a whole weekend with John at Parents Weekend in Colorado. Like, we flew together, rented a car, drove up an hour to get to my son's college, ended up having to take back roads to get there because of traffic, you know, having to navigate, and spent a whole weekend together partying and hanging out and playing beer pong with my ex-husband.
But wait a minute.
All good? Like
Oh, it was
everything's
amazing.
like
Yeah,
wow.
okay, I gotta be honest. Maybe I'm just insecure. Maybe I'm not as insecure as I used to be, but I don't know if I could do that. How about
Look,
you?
it's been like 10 years.
Yeah, I know it has, but it's still.
If you would have told me 10 years ago I was going to do it?
Right.
Oh, no. Absolutely not. I never, ever thought it would be
You
possible.
probably would have killed him if you were like.
Oh, absolutely.
But Dom,
I
could
would have
you
waited
do
for
it?
him to sleep and punch him.
Would I do that?
Would you
I
hang
think
out
I
with
did do that,
with your
actually.
ex?
I don't know. I think it's a tough thing to forecast whether or not you could do or
yeah,
not.
it is.
Because you have to grow, right?
I know, man.
You have to undergo growth. And I don't think we change, right?
Right.
I think you grow and you become more wise and knowledgeable
Yeah.
about things, but I don't believe people change.
What's the difference?
I think there's a huge difference. I think
Because I know I do not behave in any way that I used to behave.
yeah, but I think because you got awareness over.
So I changed.
But I don't know if that's changed. I think it's
But why isn't that changed,
You know
Dom?
what Dom's saying, I think you're saying is that we've got this potential inside us, and it's like you're actualizing it, like you're
Right,
growing,
right.
and it's
No,
kind
I
of
hear
coming
you. I
out.
hear
And
you.
is that sort of
it's
what
like
you mean?
it's like they say the rock star who's an asshole, right? It's not like he became an asshole. He was always an asshole. He just got a bunch of money and
That's actually
said,
not at all what I was
now
trying
I
to
can
say.
show you who I really am. You know. So
Like I think of Paula, and now she's got another dude. I don't. That's a bit. What I'm trying to say, Laura, is I think that's amazing that you can do that, and maybe it's not that amazing, but to me it is.
I'm going to pipe in here too,
Cameron, go
Mo,
ahead.
on that note, on what you're saying. Like,
Yeah.
you try and imagine it. And the thing is that I know through State of Mind, you guys know some of Laura's specific set of circumstances that she went through. But I guarantee you don't know everything, all the details. I don't know everything. Mo doesn't, either does Dom. But
No, I know everything.
But what you went through, if I put myself really as much as I do know in your shoes, and then you were able to do it, that's amazing. And I don't know. I mean, I'd like
Yeah.
to think I would be able to, but that's real growth.
I guess what I have to honestly say is that, and I have children, so, and we've seen, we always have people in our family and sometimes people close to us, that there's just an awful divorce and nasty things are said and the kids are stuck in the middle. And for some reason, I just knew that was not what I wanted. And I knew it was not supposed to be how I operated. And I don't know how I knew that. And I can say that, you know, I can look at my kids now and say, he's still family. Our family just shifted. He doesn't have to be my husband to still be a family. I still love him and want the best for him. And I, you know, his last girlfriend I really liked and was really mad that he broke up with her. You know what I mean? Like, I'm like, we liked her. Like, what is wrong with you? You know, like, it's now shifted. Like, he's family.
And how
You know,
is he with?
Thanksgiving.
How is he with conversely? Like, is that?
Oh, we just went up
It's
and I had
okay?
to get rid of a storage unit that I still had up in the area where we raised our kids. And Wes was there, and I'm like, Wes, run over to John's Winery, get his truck, and tell him you're going to use this truck because we got to go to the dump and put all this. And he's like, all right. I called John, I'm like, Wes is coming over. He's like, great. Like,
He's got to be jealous of Wes, dude. Come on. I mean, no, I'm not.
I mean, he is the nicest man on the planet.
Well, no, but he's so good looking, nice.
It's like 6'5".
I mean, come on, man. He walks in like, hi, I'm Wes.
I mean, it is amazing, right? It's just, and I will say,
Good
like
for you, though.
Thanksgiving, everyone was kind of dancing around, like, because we wanted John to come with us for Thanksgiving, but we didn't know if he wanted to, and everyone was kind of dancing around. And I just called him. I'm like, look, do you have plans for Thanksgiving? He's like, no. I go, well, here are the plans, and we want you to join us. Do you have another option that you would like to throw in the ring? He's like, no, I'll do what you're doing. I'm like, great. And then I call him back. Can you invite your parents? Because my kids would love their grandparents that they have left to be there. Absolutely. And I said, you need to make it happen for our kids. And he's like, done. Great.
That's great.
Nice.
It's
nice.
all about the family,
great.
and you know,
All right, Dom.
he's my family.
What have you been doing since the last time you were on?
Well, we talked. I mean, it's been
last
a while.
time we talked, it was about the sex.
No, but not that one. The one before.
You'd like to not revisit that one?
No, but the last
I'll talk about sex all night long. Doesn't
No,
matter.
but
whatever you guys want to do.
the last time you came on with Lisa.
I mean, just with you though. Like, I feel like when I was on solo with you, we talked about like it was a different level of stuff.
Well, yeah, we talked about the, you know, you were.
He doesn't want to talk about
I guess he doesn't. I
No,
don't know.
no,
Okay,
no,
Mo,
no.
let's talk about sex, man.
No. But have you been doing anything after that?
Well, I think one thing I've always felt about you and I, and we talked about this that day, was the effects our wives have had on us, you know,
Yeah.
on our person, our development,
Yes.
you know, and all that kind of stuff. And I've always said I don't know where I'd be without her, and I almost messed that
You
up
can clap for that.
a few times. But since then, you know, I've suffered loss. My uncle passed away 2 weeks ago. He was like a second father. He didn't have kids, and I was like his son, you know. And we talked every day, you know what I mean? Because I walked the dog, I called my uncle. I drove to work, I called my uncle, you know what I mean? And I haven't really talked about this. But anyway, my wife is amazing. Before this happened, I feel like I was in a better position to kind of deal with this kind of stuff because she once again brought something kind of that made me grow into my life, which was, she's like, hey, we're going to do this meditation thing. You're going to learn how to meditate properly. We're going to, and it's fascinating, man, because the stuff that we think that we are choosing to do or behaving how we're behaving is not necessarily our thoughts. It's not because we're bad people. It's because from a very young age, we've all been through whatever we've all been through, right? And we are programmed subconsciously, like not like a brainwashing thing, but subconsciously based on however you were brought up.
And survival.
And survival.
trying
And your
to survive.
family's relation to love, to money, to each other, all this stuff. And that affects how you handle all these opportunities you have in front of you in your life. And when you have opportunity, sometimes if you don't do this work, you don't actually take advantage of the opportunity properly because you're so kind of locked in subconsciously, not even knowing it, to how you were conditioned growing up in your formative years. and all that kind of
Meditation was a
stuff.
part of my journey as well.
Yeah.
Huge part.
And so it's been massive for me. Like she And
Is meditation new in your life?
it's not, meditation is sort of new. It started over COVID.
Yeah, sure.
But this is a whole other level. Like she's
Good for you.
got us in a course essentially.
Great.
Which is you do it on your own, and you follow it as you do, and it's tough. It takes a lot of work. It takes a lot of commitment to actually.
Right.
At the end of a day, to kind of like say, kids, like I got to go in here for half an hour and just like have like a quiet time. But it's important, and I think it's important for them to
that's
see.
such a crucial part of,
Yeah.
of your self-growth. I
Yeah.
think.
Yeah, and it helps you deal with everything. Like, I don't think I would be here without the growth that I've done. I don't think I book that NCIS LA a couple months ago without, what's that? Oh, thanks. But even that, I don't think I would have done as good a job there if I wasn't more prepared.
You mean without Paula getting you the job?
Yeah, Paula's now my agent.
Like, excuse me,
And
I
Paula
got
got
you
me
the
the
job.
audition. Yes.
Dom always says, it wasn't Paula, it was me.
No. Paula got me the audition, yes. And I had to seal the deal, though. She doesn't get me, she doesn't,
Oh, for the love of God.
Yeah.
They're gonna keep going.
Anyway, bottom line is what we talked about that day, I feel like life goes on, right?
Yeah.
Bad shit continues to happen. Good shit continues to happen.
Yeah.
Then it's how you handle it, and you don't even know how to handle some of this stuff until you evolve. And it's like, oh, it's a continuing thing. It's like, oh, fuck, I've already grown enough, haven't I? And then it's like, yeah,
Oh, dude.
you got to do a little bit more, a little bit more, a
Yeah.
little bit more. It depends on how much you want,
You know, on
Well,
that,
I think when you watch someone pass away, I'm sorry, when you watch, like I watched both my parents die.
Yeah.
And I think that also changed something in my situation with my ex because you see how fragile life is.
Yeah.
And what's the point of holding a grudge?
Totally.
Really?
yeah, exactly.
We're all like, we're all going one day. Like, why not live as big as we can while we're here?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
And
You know-
love as big as we can.
You know, every time that I've gone through things, I have these conversations with God saying, why? Why again? Why? But you got to stop asking why. You just got to go through it. And then if you go through it, you will be rewarded. And my life in the last 2 years has been unreal. And I never imagined it would be, ever 2 years ago. Cameron, I want to talk to you about cancer, bro.
Okay, man.
Because that's a beautiful thing, that the fact that you got through all that and how
Yeah.
you did that. Let's bring it on.
Thanks, brother. Yeah, I mean, I just want to say before we kind of get into how we're going to follow that up, like, just listening to you guys and, thinking about what we've all been doing in the context of mental health and learning to become happier from the inside out, essentially, it sounds like, like what you're doing, Mo, is a really great thing. Like what you're doing is you're literally letting us all hear ideas and concepts and strategies that allow us to find what, to tap into real happiness, real peace of mind.
Yeah.
And when I say real, I mean, we're so used to, and at least I'm speaking for myself here, if anybody can relate to it, is basing how we feel and our state of happiness on external conditions and situations and things and people and stimulation and distraction and external pleasure all the time. And that's a blip. That's like a moment. It's not real pure happiness, because we can have all that and still be miserable. And there's a lot of people that on the outside have everything and they're still miserable. And through your show and through listening to you guys and all your guests, like you're just spreading real pure goodness out there, man.
Thanks,
And we want to thank you. I really mean
Thank
that.
you. I
So,
appreciate
yeah,
it.
it's
But, it's funny because when I was out with the autographs and that stuff and fans come up, you start realizing what it's doing through them,
Yeah.
because they'll say, my son has bipolar. He didn't want to take medication. Now he's taking medication. Yeah. And that's like, whoa. And you just see, because I don't do these like I used to. So I don't talk to the people a lot like I did to.
Like during the lives you used to do, right? When
Yeah,
you would get-
exactly.
Yeah, but I don't want to make assumptions here, but it's not like, with our kids and the people around us, we can tell them whatever we want. You can tell them to take medication. I promise you, the changes that I understand that you've made in the last couple of years, because I've really only truly
Yeah,
kind
I
of known you
have,
less.
yeah.
and I see you, but it's through our actions. It's through,
Yeah.
we teach and guide through example more than anything else. And I bet you that seeing you and seeing the growth that you've made through being able to use the show as a way for your own therapy and your own, because you've told me that. You've told me that flat out.
I have to
so I just wanted to shout out because
I have to confess something, and my wife didn't want me to say this, but I'm going to say it.
If she didn't want you to say it, then you probably shouldn't say
Yeah,
I know,
right.
I know.
I mean,
it. Like,
But I'm going to follow up by saying something else. I just have not been to therapy like I should. And I got to be honest, it's not a good thing. Okay, I get it. But like Cameron said, I think the show, State of Mind, has kind of been my therapy because I get to talk to everybody about things and then tell them what I think, and I have to live by the sword or die by the sword. So, I'm not saying everybody should go to therapy. I used to go all the time. But, hey, man, I'm doing pretty good.
Mo, what I was thinking about, and I know Laura and Dom will chime in here too, is what I was thinking about. So, like in the since we've last talked, one of the secrets to happiness, one of the secrets to really experiencing pure happiness. We talked about meditation. We talked about experiencing like sort of some peace of mind, some calmness, some contentment for sure, and it comes in different forms. But what I have learned about myself is in this business in particular, I think there's a lot of emphasis on obsessive self-concern. And obsessive self-concern, of course we got to care about ourselves, and we got to take care of ourselves, but especially in the entertainment business, we can have a spotlight on us. And what I see you doing in this, and what I've noticed in my own life, however I've been able to do it, is by turning that awareness and being other-centric and focusing on others is the most incredible path.
And
to
gift for you.
To feeling happy. It's a backdoor effect, isn't it,
Well,
Laura?
obviously.
It's amazing. It's like,
it's true.
So
you know what it
that's-
is? It's all like that other stuff is just about being in the moment all the time as much as you possibly can as
Yeah.
well too. Because if you are in the moment all the time,
Yes.
you're just like, I'm talking to you, I'm taking what you're saying, and you're not thinking about yourself.
Right.
You're
or
not
the
thinking
past
about
that you can't change,
Yeah.
or the future that we're not even promised, right? Like, what we have is this moment anyway.
So let's talk to cancer, bro, because you got to get that in.
Back to you.
Yeah,
nice trying to get away from it, but
yeah. 3 years ago, I was diagnosed with renal cancer, kidney cancer, my right kidney. It was a real kind of, miracle, I'll say, that we found it. I just sort of pushed for an MRI, and it turned out that I was onto something, and they found kidney cancer, and I was, very lucky that we caught it. It had been inside of me for a long time, and kidney cancer itself is quite manageable when you catch it early enough. If you don't, and because there's no real signs other than if you do a lot of tests and blood work and things like that, which I did, is if it spreads, and it hadn't spread yet. So I'm 3 years. I guess I'm not officially saying cancer-free. I'm 3 years with in remission, and I'm feeling great, and hopefully many more. Yeah. Thanks.
weren't we in New York when you got those results? Or
Yeah,
something?
yeah,
We were
yeah. I
doing
was with
an
you.
event.
I was with you.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
Like we're doing
Okay.
events.
I got two more questions that I'm going to ask, and whoever wants to take for each of you guys. But I don't know. It's hard to when I'm doing State of Mind in my room, I know in my head what's a half hour and what's for here. I don't, so I don't know where we're at.
Make sure someone.
Oh, that's it. I don't have a clock at home. That's. What time did we start? 6:30.
We started a little, yeah.
Oh, all right. Well, let me get these questions in. So we've all had people that have passed away lately in the last couple of years, whatever. Does it get any easier, and what helps it get easier?
Well, I think that's different for every person.
Yeah.
I think that would be individual. I'm always going to miss, I can smell my mom's perfume still.
Really?
How long ago did you lose your mom?
2 years ago.
2 years ago.
Yeah. Oh, no, was it? No. I did that the other day. It was the 2018, so
Wow.
4 years ago. My dad died 2 months later. And they, and I miss, like you were saying, you call your uncle. Like, my mom was my phone call. I drive my kids crazy now. They're like, why are you calling me? I'm like, I'm calling my mom right now. You're an asshole. Like, it's so
I
mad.
started calling my sisters.
Yeah, I mean, my son's like, always answers the phone. My daughter's like, what? That's how she answers the phone. She's like, I'm at your house. I'm going to see you. There's nothing to talk about when you get here if you call me now. I'm like, I know, it's just a habit, But the phone calls, a video will pop up, on Facebook memory of my dad being silly, those kind of things. I have such peace with my parents' death. I mean, that's the thing. I don't feel like we lose someone because they're not lost. They've moved on. We're all going to die. I'm so grateful for the time I had with them and for what I learned from them that I don't have this. And it also was, my mom died of emphysema. My dad ended up dying of liver, what's it called? What's the liver disease? But he didn't drink, but it was the same thing. Yes, cirrhosis of the liver. And I don't know. I'm really okay with it. I don't have issues around at all. But it was a long time coming. It wasn't like I was it wasn't a shock, So I have a lot of peace with my parents.
Dom?
I don't know. I still have a hard time with my mom not being here.
Was it a shocking thing?
Yeah.
It came out of the blue?
Yeah, it happened really fast, and it was 9 years ago still. And it's crazy. Can you believe that was
still makes no
9 years
sense to
ago?
you.
It's still unbelievable to me. And my uncle going kind of made it, I know, and you just lost your mom, dude, and I'm so sorry, man. Like, that's so fucking, But at my mom's funeral, my uncle who just passed, he got up and he said some most beautiful words about my mom I've ever heard, And so when he passed away 2 weeks ago, I was like, all right, cool. The guy who made my mom laugh the most is somewhere with her now. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's beautiful.
So that part helps me a little bit, but it's still, kids make it tough. Because your kids grow up without their grandmother, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you see so much in your children, in your family, right? Everyone sees your mom, your dad, and your sons and daughters and all that stuff. And that forever will be, I think, challenging,
I didn't realize it was 2 weeks ago, man.
Oh, yeah, it's
2 weeks ago. I didn't realize.
It's kind of
I'm sorry,
downer, so I don't really bring it up.
But here's the thing. We're talking
No, it's
about,
called life.
We
is
we
what
all
it is.
have it.
It's life,
we
right?
all have it. And so on that note, so I lost my mom almost exactly a year ago.
It's all right, bro. Yeah. That's all right.
No, it's nice because the fact that we're talking about this, my dad's here this weekend because of that.
Right.
So my dad's here, right? So
Right.
and my Aunt Kim and my mom's sister's here too.
Yeah.
So we're here, I think. So yeah, the emotions are still very strong, and I got to say this just real quick, and I'm going to say that because I'm going to piggyback on some of the things that Laura I think has been using to help, in a sense, transform the experience of the painful experience and try to create some more positive memories and positive feelings about it. But my dad's been hanging out with me a little bit. We've been in the lobby, my aunt and my dad. I've been off running around and hanging out with you guys, and while I've been doing that, people have been coming up to me, and they've been showing me selfies that you're taking with my dad, like as a celebrity. And his face hasn't really looked that happy in a long time, I gotta tell you. So thank you all for doing that.
Wow.
That is so cool. So that's a beautiful, it just goes to show you what this sort of this family is all about. Like, we're all in it together, and you may not even know why, that he's here and what he's going through or whatever, but that was pretty cool. But yeah, I would say it's something that I'm still, struggling with it, obviously. But it's an active, so part of my meditation practice. So, there's a lot of misconceptions about meditation. I think you hear a lot of meditation, it's just like you blank your mind, you zone out, whatever, and that can be helpful. But there's a lot of active meditation where you have a proper thought process, proper in the sense that it's like the psychology of happiness, right? Things like gratitude and learning to love people and compassion. And so there's like psychology you apply into a meditation practice, and then you kind of arrive at an object, we call it, and you kind of let that steep in your mind. And it grows in your mind, and you're more likely to be like that in your everyday life when you face challenges like loss, etc., right?
Yeah. The one cool thing that reminds me of is like, imagine a lot of the times when it tells you to kind of think of an experience that didn't really go the way you wanted it to, or you weren't comforted in the way you wanted to be comforted by that person that was in your life or whatever, your mom, dad, whatever. And like bring forward how you would want to have been comforted in that moment, or your higher self, you know, which our higher selves, once we're done with all this shit, is going to look back and laugh at us probably, you know?
Please don't swear.
But it's true.
Sorry.
It's true in the sense that you
Sorry.
can train. You know, you
Apologize.
mentally train basically how
Yeah.
Right.
you know to improve yourself. And so my point in saying all that is for me, sort of piggybacking on what you guys were saying, is that I really deeply train in my meditation practice in gratitude and really being grateful. My mom was amazing. I mean, she was just the most incredible mom ever, and there's a million different memories I can draw from to have those moments, and she taught me who I wanted to be as a parent, and there's so many incredible things, and you actually I've lost my mom, but you come away from that experience, and you feel good, and you feel loved, and like positive and happy because you're kind of stirring those virtuous states of mind through my meditation practice.
Right.
So it's a training, because I'm really quickly to kind of go down the path of feeling the pain and the loss and why me and how did this happen? She
Right.
was so healthy and it's no unfair and et cetera.
Right,
and
right.
that's a path that can lead to a lot of mental
Right.
health issues.
Right.
So for me, it's
There's no answers down that path
there's
either.
no answers.
Right.
There's no exactly. How do we get answers to those questions? So for me, it's an active practice of gratitude, of reliving memories, of keeping her alive in conversation. On the 26th, my family, we talked stories. We watched a video of my mom. We remembered favorite stories in a lighthearted way. And of course, emotions come up, and we're not trying to stuff the
course.
emotions. But at the same time,
I think
we're
we
growing
honor
the positive memories.
I think
Yeah.
we honor our parent. Like, why would crying just is
Right.
is grief because we loved so much. I found that also being there when my mom died, and the last 4 days I spent around the clock with her, was an honor.
Yeah.
I was terrified of it when I was flying in. I was like, I don't want to be there for this. I almost wanted to hear after, right? Because I was terrified. And then it ended up being just me for most of the time, and it was the greatest gift I received, was to be with my mom when she passed on, and to
Yeah.
feel safe when she did it. It was incredible for me.
And I'll just add to that, my dad died about 8, 9, 10, I don't know, a year maybe. And I've had a lot of people die. If you read my book, you'll know. It's just so many people die. And I just feel like my dad and Donna died, and they just, what they gave me was strength, because I didn't get into that, victim and why, and I tell people, what would they want? My dad wants me to be happy, man. Go on, live. Beautiful. And I know my dad's in heaven. I know it, and he's having the greatest time.
He's singing.
He's singing. They call me Cuban Pete.
No, he's doing
I'm
he's doing like TikTok videos up there, man.
Oh man! All right, that's the first part, which was I want to thank each of you seriously for such deep, great talk for everybody, the State of Mind audience. Man, that was phenomenal. Now we're going to get into the soap opera.
There we go.
Uh-oh.
All right.
Yeah, this is the really tough stuff to talk about.
Yeah, we can.
I want to talk about just like those Malibu scenes. I just want to say.
I don't know if you guys know, but it wasn't Florida. Do you guys know that it wasn't Florida?
The mountains of Florida.
No, it's just that. Was it windy?
Oh my God.
Because
Okay, let me just say, we got there, Cameron. We got there, and it was beautiful morning. They had been there. The crew had been there since like 2 in the morning, like setting up.
They
It was
did
a
an
big deal.
unbelievable job.
Beautiful day. They went 2 or 3 times prior to check location, and and they shots, right?
Yeah.
Get to after lunch, we go to the cliff. A tornado show, a hurricane showed. I mean, like it was awful, and and dangerous. The poor people with the lighting with these like screens. I can't believe it.
It was unbelievably windy, and we've all shot on
Freezing,
location a little bit,
freezing.
and I don't think anybody that's ever shot on location thought that we could use any of the audio or maybe the footage, the camera shake. You don't realize all these little kind of snafus that can happen on location. And I would have, so we do something called ADR or looping. We have to redo the audio and try and match our lips with the.
He kept
Did
saying,
you guys do ADR on
And
GH?
I thought
We
it
did
was
for
going to
this.
be the whole thing. The crew was unbelievable. These
He
were
said,
like
he goes, we're
hurricane
going to have to
winds.
ADR this entire scene.
No,
I'm like,
but we
how's
didn't.
that possible? No, we didn't.
We only had to ADR like a small fraction of
little,
it,
very
and I
little.
was so blown away with how good.
You noticed
Well,
the
that's
wind,
cool.
huh?
Well, because Laura's hair looked like a windshield wiper. it just kept going like this. Hey, Drew.
I did. At one point, I kept saying, well, we ended up moving to behind a tree because I was like, I feel like an asshole. Like, these are important words, and I'm like,
Let me tell you something.
hair.
You guys know, if some of you know that I do a lot of these Hallmark movies, the TV movies, the Christmas movies, right? There's all shot on location, every single one of them. We shoot 6 to 8 pages a day on location. Frank, how many pages did we shoot that day in Malibu on location under those conditions?
Two full shows.
Probably 40. We shot 40 pages of dialogue. And these movies that have been going on forever, it was an incredible accomplishment, and I
no, for
honestly don't know
sure.
how everybody did it.
It
so,
was amazing.
so if the hair was a little messy, Maurice,
It was just beautiful like this.
Oh, she's got a lot of hair.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you know, that's one of the things I want to
It
talk
took
to.
forever to comb up out.
I want to talk to, and this is not going to be a hair thing, but I just want to ask you how great you have great hair. No, I'm not trying to be, but you do. I mean, everybody says you have great hair. You have great hair.
Thank you.
Why?
Well, my grandmother had thick, black, curly hair.
Okay, all right.
My parents and both my siblings, thin, fine hair. No one has thick hair in my family. And I think one other cousin has thick hair. And I eat really well. My hair grows really fast, and I really think it's because I eat a lot of broccoli. That's my thing.
Come on.
I mean, I sometimes have broccoli for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. In my food, I have other things too. But I think it's because I eat a lot of greens. I really do.
Guess it's better than asparagus for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, right?
Oh, yeah, I'm having asparagus for dinner, though.
Are you?
Yeah,
But
because they don't
that's
have broccoli. Or I would have
that's like-
broccoli. But that's all right.
Dom?
Yes?
Can I ask
Don't
you
be
a
here talking
question
about
from my little
pee.
cheat
Yeah, what?
sheet
Sure.
that I haven't looked at that much, but I'm going to look at it right now.
Okay.
So can you tell us when you met Ryan Gosling and how that was when you were young?
you serious?
I want to know that story. Yeah.
That's funny. You know what's really funny is my buddy was just in the London Zoo. My best friend lives in London, and he was at the zoo with his son. Anyway, he texts me out of the blue. He's like, Ryan says hello. And I'm like, Ryan who? He's like, Gosling. I'm like, how did you see Ryan? He's like, I went up to him at the zoo. And this guy's like a crazy dude, man. He walks up to anybody, anywhere, anytime. And like, I wouldn't even have walked up to Ryan because I probably wouldn't have even recognized him because he looked like he was doing Barbie. So he was looking all like Ken doll.
Oh,
White
yeah,
hair.
right.
Yeah. Yeah, it was just 2 months ago or something. So anyway, he goes up to Ryan and he's like, hey, man, you remember me? And Ryan goes, yeah, from Hamilton, you're Dom's buddy. And he's like, yeah. He's like, how's Dom? He's like, tell him I said hello. Anyway, me and Ryan did an episode of a TV show, a Canadian TV show called Ready or Not. Do you remember that show? Back in, man, we were 17. And we became good buddies for a couple years there. And then he went and did, he came to my grandparents' house for dinner.
Wow.
Oh, yeah, we hung out, man.
But
And
it's amazing how you're a much better actor than he is.
I don't know about that.
I think you are.
But you know, it's interesting because my children are like, now they know who Ryan Gosling is. And they're like, so what happened to you? I'm like, hey, I'm on my own path, girls. Don't worry about my path.
My own path.
Oh,
you're
that's
like,
the
you're
best.
Oh
killing
my
it.
God, that's so funny. My own path.
Yeah, it's funny. But yeah,
All right.
that was that story. Yeah, we screen tested together. We grew apart because he went and did Young Hercules, and then we screen tested, and he was the first choice, and I was the second choice. Wow. That's like kind of how it was going for us for a little while. Yeah.
All right. I want to ask each of you something, and it may be a little off. Well, I don't know what it may be. Is there somebody behind me? Thank you. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Have you ever fallen in love with a co-star? Now, if you have, And you don't want to
Blink twice? Like, what do you want us to do?
I wouldn't say falling in love. I would say falling in lust.
Yeah, but I want love. But you fell in love with Wes.
No, he wasn't my co-star. I worked with him 3 times. And
Yeah,
I was
but
with him way
I get
before.
you. But still, yeah, that's kind of cool.
I mean, I think that still qualifies. 'Cause
Right.
you work together, and then at some point you fell in love.
No, I'm see what Laura's saying. That's not a co-star.
No, I
that's
worked
not someone.
with him on Guiding
That's not
Light when
someone
I
she had
was
like a
pregnant
love
with
interest
my
with and
son.
stuff. like that.
Okay, take it easy now.
No, my co-star on my co-star on Loving,
Oh,
I was
you did?
madly in love with Paul Anthony
Oh.
Stewart.
Who was he?
His name was Paul Anthony Stewart.
Really?
Paul Anthony Stewart.
Oh, I know. Yeah, I know Paul Anthony.
Incredible
Like, who the
actor.
heck is that?
Everyone was like, he's gay. And I'm like, no, he's not. He likes me. And they're like, oh, whatever. So for like 2 years, I was like, hi. You know, like, oh my God, I was so in love.
That's
and finally
great.
he's like, it's really not going to happen. I didn't listen. I was like, no, you don't understand. I think he likes me. Like, he's paid to act like he likes you.
Wow.
That was
So
my
you weren't
first
in
job.
love though.
Oh, I think it's with either one. I mean, and when on Guiding Light, I was just madly in love with Bradley Cole, who played
I know
Prince
that is
Richard. And what I realized is, because I realized every time we would be at an event together afterwards, we didn't really hang out or talk. And I'm like, oh, I'm actually madly in love with Richard. I was really in love with
Yeah.
the character and really caught up in the storyline. And back at that time, the way we shot that show, I was there from 7 in the morning till 7 at night, and I spent more time with that person running lines and doing scenes on set than I spent with my family. And it just, and all you're wearing are beautiful clothes and having this person tell me how amazing I am and how beautiful. And I would go home and John would be like, did you clean up the dog shit in the backyard? And I'm like, what about how amazing and beautiful I am? And he's like, what? And the kids crying and dinner's, all over the table. And so it's easy to get caught up in the romance of something that's not real.
Yeah.
But then I got over that quick. So I do understand how it can happen.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely. But, but not on General Hospital in 17 years. Sorry, baby.
How can that not happen?
She's obviously not telling the truth.
What about you, Dom?
No, well, I met my wife on a show. She was a makeup artist on
Oh.
a series I was doing in Canada, so I fell in love with the makeup artist. Yeah. She actually wore a real thong, not like what you were doing. Yeah. And I thought at the time she was doing it for me. That's how arrogant I was at 20, 21.
Oh, man.
And it wasn't until I met her, I was like, oh, you really weren't doing that for
she,
me. That's
that
cool.
she couldn't have been doing that for herself.
Yeah,
right?
exactly. Yeah. Anyway, we fell in love. Even though she ran away from me the first night I told her I liked her. We took her out for coffee, and remember that show 24?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That was the biggest show, man. I was like, you want to come back to my hotel and watch 24? And she's like, yeah. I'm like, yeah. So we go back to the room.
That was your big pickup
That was my
line?
thing.
That was your night out? Was like-
24, man.
Oh, you got her. I mean,
So
it worked.
we got on the couch in the hotel, and I finally said after the show was over, I said, so you know I like you, right? And she got up and switched chairs and went over here. And I'm like, oh, that wasn't the reaction I was
Wow.
looking for. And then she said I should leave. And I'm like, no, why? Like,
What just happened?
yeah, what happened? So she left, and I thought it was over right there. And then I called her the next day. I said, so it was like, no? Is that like you don't feel the same way? She's like,
Take that as a no, yeah.
yeah, that was a hard no. But she
no.
she had a problem with the work romance thing, you know?
Yeah. They all do in the beginning. What about you, Cameron?
I've been thinking about it as you guys are talking, and the real answer is no. But when I first moved to New York on All My Children, Ryan on All My Children, and was with, you guys remember Princess Jillian?
Ryan.
She was
I
Jillian
loved her.
Esther Terblanche. And she was in a relationship, and it wasn't anything kind of like naughty. But I
Did you say
realized
naughty?
He did. He said naughty.
but I realized that, but I was in real awe of her. I was like, you know what I mean? I think a part of me kind of fell in love with
And
the
it's
idea.
a storyline.
I had moved
Yeah.
from Canada to New York, like out of nowhere. I was on All My Children. My life had changed, turned upside down. I was single. I was working opposite this beautiful woman with a great accent.
Who loved you.
Like infatuation.
Oh, all of her dialogue. I just loved their. I love you, Ryan. I mean, she just.
That's all guys want. You know what I mean? That's it. So, yeah, I'd say that's the closest to an onset like falling in love situation happening.
Okay, so.
What about you?
Well, no, wait. I can't. Unfortunately, you can't ask any more questions. There was someone, speaking of love, before Maurice's very first love,
What
Paula.
the hell's going on here?
We're hijacking your state of
We're
mind.
hijacking his state of mind. There's someone here that Paula has arranged to be here, and this person was the first person of real, true impact in Maurice's life. And Maurice does not know that he's here tonight. We'd like to ask Dr. Charles Noonan to come out to the stage.
Put your hands together, please, everybody.
Dr. Noonan and Maurice go way, way back.
Hi.
And now, are you going to be able to speak?
I'm really glad to see you.
It's all Paula's fault, okay? Paula did this.
It actually is.
Well,
I think we got him.
Dr. Noonan was, there's two stories I'll tell you about him. After I escaped from the hospital, mental institution, nobody would tell me what was wrong with me forever. They just didn't, I don't know why they didn't. So I ended up escaping the hospital. And maybe a month after that, I saw Dr. Noonan, and he'd just sit there and he would write. And I would tell him what was going on, he'd write. And he said to me, I said, what do I got? He says, you're manic depressive. I said, what is that? He says, don't worry about it, you're going to take lithium, you're going to be okay. So he's pretty much, I guess, a lot of things have saved my life. Lithium, my wife, Lexapro, and you.
You did it.
You did it, Mo. You did it.
And there's another thing that he did, that I don't know if he remembers, when I was having my third breakdown and I threatened to kill my wife and it got real bad. My wife called Dr. Noonan and he said, she said, I think he's going through something. And so he gets on the phone with me and he says, how you doing? I said, oh, hey, Charles, how you doing, man? I'm fine, because every time you're going through a manic episode or anything, you're always fine. You know, I'm fine. So he talks to Paula afterwards, and she said, what do you think? He goes, he's going through another breakdown. And she goes, how do you know? And he said, because he's never called me Charles. That's how smart he is. Wow. Anyway, how you doing, man?
I'm doing fine. In fact, I'm 73 now, so
Yeah.
I'm not a young man anymore. It's fun to be here with all of these fun young people who are
gifted
people, and you.
Thank you.
By the way, you know, my viewpoint of your profession is that you people have gifts You have gifts of being able to do what you do. I don't want to go
No, that's
off
true.
the
It's very
deep end
true.
with that.
Yeah.
But you have a gift. And maybe in my own way, when I was practicing back in the day and I saw you, I saw within you something that was special. Now, you could say that there's, I made that up, or I'm off base, and, like I want to make myself look good. But over the years of practicing psychiatry, I encountered many people from many walks of life, and the practice of psychiatry is very difficult.
Yeah.
Because you have to take everything seriously. You have to be able to deal with things that, some of the most god-awful things, some of the maybe more benign. I've heard all of you talk about your situations, losses, cancer, divorce, all of that. And that's life. That's a slice of life. I could go on and on and on, in regards to things that are like that. But you're right. When I've watched some of your podcasts,
Yes.
and I'm very proud of you that you have chosen to do this, because I really believe that it's therapeutic for you. I could see that.
Yes, yes.
Oh yeah.
Thank God.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I think you made a marvelous choice to do this.
Yeah.
And what I'm hearing is that an awful lot of people are benefiting in many ways from the things that you've talked about, your own life, and the ups and the downs of all of that. Literally,
Literally.
with bipolar.
Yeah.
And it's my pleasure to get a chance to reunite with you.
I haven't seen you in how long?
About 37 years. Yeah.
What in the world is
Wow.
But let me emphasize something. I mean, psychiatry is kind of stigmatized. I think for you, it probably was pretty traumatic,
Yeah.
what you encountered, sort of in the traditional psychiatric ways of doing things, dealing with thought disorders, behavioral problems,
Yeah.
losing control,
Yeah.
all of that. And the solution so many times is to put people into institutions,
Yeah.
put them into wards, in locked hospitals, seclusion, to the god-awful things that can happen, or like electroshock therapy, lobotomies, things like that I'm not sure any of that
No. It
still
was
going on.
Yeah.
But just the notion that being traumatized during the course of what was happening to you, I'm sure, made it difficult to come and see me.
Yeah.
It's like, we're going to do what?
Yeah.
And your mother and your dad
Yeah.
engineered that.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah. And I certainly look upon the effort that they put forward to come and see someone that was young and new like me.
Oh, that's right. You were young then. That's right.
Thanks.
Wow.
But I was hot to trot. I mean, I had come out of training. I was well trained.
Yeah.
I was board certified. So I knew a lot. And I knew about
So you knew at that moment when I was in your office, and I can remember your office, you knew that I would be okay.
Yeah, it's like, the proper way to approach these things from a psychiatric point of view is that you look at what is, you try to diagnose it,
Yeah.
whatever it is, and you come up with a tentative diagnosis, and then you look at how you're going to try to solve it,
Right.
what to do about it.
Right.
It's interesting that lithium had only been approved by the FDA about 10 years prior to when I saw you.
Wow.
The United States was the 50th country in the world to approve lithium for
Wow.
bipolar disorder.
And now, is that still the only major treatment for bipolar, or are there many different drugs that you can take it now?
Very good question. Okay. Without being critical of the field of psychiatry or the American Psychiatric Association, there's a trend away from lithium.
I know.
Okay.
I know. Yeah.
Now, I'm not sure why that is. Okay. I have
A
my
trend away to where?
to not using
To
it
not
as
using
the
anything.
primary, drug. It's actually a salt, but and there's residents being trained in psychiatric residencies across the country in the use of anti-seizure compounds as seemingly effective to treat this, and I'm shocked. I really am. But you know what? We're in an era where the drug industry is it's big pharma,
Yes.
and I'm sure that people that watch this may feel like, who's this guy? You know, where's he getting off on? I'm just an honest.
I'll
person.
kick their ass. Don't worry about that.
Okay, Sonny. Thank God for you. So it's remarkable that we're seeing declining numbers of psychiatrists. The interest in going into the field is diminishing. And I think it's possibly because there's not anything new. In fact, there's some global research that's being done on the effectiveness of antidepressants on depression. And they're finding that it's not what we thought it was. So the industry is kind of in a strange place, but it's disheartening that freshly trained psychiatry residents, people coming out into practice, are not using lithium as their primary approach to this type of mood disorder, because it's so unique unto itself.
But isn't it a lot of that has to do with side effects, and the people get side effects with lithium maybe, and they don't want to take it?
I think the whole notion of taking drugs is one that people don't relish. It's not something that they feel real excited about. Again, psychiatry and its past history of the use of compounds to treat mental illness, it's not positive. In fact, the situation as it stands right now, it's kind of stalled in terms of being able to effectively treat bipolar disorders, even depressive disorders, because they tend to use anti-seizure compounds and antipsychotic compounds. You may see on television, there's lots of commercials for all of these new compounds that are like, they're going to give
if
you
you have bipolar 1, if you have depression, all those commercials.
Yeah, you do it really well.
Thank you.
Yeah. And, take this, okay?
Yeah.
Because this is going to help you. And every time I see one of these, a new one that comes out, and the list is really enormous, most of them are antipsychotic compounds. In other words, they are things that suppress brain activity, and it doesn't necessarily make much of a difference in terms of how people do. So it's, as much as that sounds too negative, I certainly understand that people that are practicing are trying to help people.
Yeah.
But to be quite honest, Maurice, lithium is one of the best medications on earth.
This is going to be great. Yeah.
One of the best medications on earth.
Of course,
Is it
I say.
cheap?
It's cheap.
That's probably.
And that's
the
part-
other
It's not
part.
run by big pharma is the problem, right? It's not like a big pharmaceutical. It's not like a narcotic, right? So it's
Right. In fact, if you go into the internet, you Google some of these lithium and whatever, you're going to see a lot of postings for negatives about lithium. Yeah. And I'm here to tell you that is not what it's all about. It's
No.
not, okay?
Gotcha.
It's a salt.
Yep.
It's not like a true medication
Right.
as people think about them.
Right.
All these other compounds that are being utilized have enormous numbers of side effects. Anti-seizure group.
I don't have any side effects. except falling in love with Carly.
Oh.
I think we got to go then.
Wait a second.
And on that note,
Right.
We're wrapping it. Go ahead.
no, I'm letting you. Cheers.
No, I think we're wrapping it up because somebody's got to come in here at now and do a karaoke or something. I don't know.
Karaoke in here?
They're kicking us out for karaoke.
You're kicking us out for
Oh.
karaoke.
Okay, I just.
It's
What do you
been
guys
an
want? Us or
absolute-
karaoke? I'm just
Wait,
kidding.
it's been
I'm joking,
an
I'm
absolute
joking.
pleasure being
So do you
here
live
with you
on
guys
here?
experiencing this reunion.
Yeah,
It's been a
yeah,
pleasure.
Thank you for including us.
Wow.
You're going to find something out here pretty quick.
All right.
I just was thanking him. It's been a pleasure. Thank you.
I want to
Thank
thank you for saving his life.
Yeah.
Because if he wasn't here, we wouldn't be here, they wouldn't be here.
I'd still be here. No, I'm kidding.
I honestly don't. I want to second just before what you said was, and I thought about it today, like you really make, fuck.
I know we're all crying here like babies.
No, I'm not crying.
Oh, you're not?
No. You make me
not
want to
crying, you're
do better things too, man.
Thanks,
That
man.
stuff rubs off on people, and it's great.
Yeah, man. It's. I mean, this just blew me away. I don't know. This is like, it just shocked me, and I haven't been shocked like that. It just, I'm speechless.
Your sweetie had everything in the world to do with this.
Thank you.
She's the one that
Yeah, I'm
engineered
sure.
this.
I don't know how she tracked you down because nobody's been able to track you down forever.
Paula's amazing.
So I just want to end this by saying, oh, there's Paula.
This is Paula.
Now she's crying. Everybody's crying. I just want to say that I don't know what I expected today, but this is about 20 times better. So I want to thank Frank Valentini again, and Graceland, and the actors, Laura Wright, Dominic Zamprogna, and Cameron Mathison, and the fans always, because I couldn't do nobody could do without you guys, loving things. And please subscribe. I hate to say that at this point, but I have to because it's YouTube. Please subscribe. Please tell everybody to. And Dr. Noonan, I'm not going to call you Charles because then people think I'm having
Call
a
me
breakdown.
Chuck. My name is Chuck.
All right, Charles. Okay, I really appreciate it. It's been so long since I've seen you, and I talk about you all the time, and how you gave me the title of Manic when nobody was giving it to me. I still don't understand why they weren't, but maybe I don't need to know why they weren't. I mean, whatever. So anyway, thank everybody. Thank you. We love you, the whole thing. And
Thank you.
this is a
Thanks
real
for
treat.
coming,
Thank you,
guys.
Maurice, for having us.
Yep.
Yeah, this
Thank
is
you,
great.
Mo. Thanks for having us, Maurice.